Hey guys, Chart Stoppers back with another video. In this channel we take a look at different stocks and map out their key support and resistance areas on their chart. It's important to know these areas before you buy any stock, and it's also important to know what kind of a trend a stock is in before you buy into it. Support and resistance is one of the most important things you should know about a stock before you either buy or sell. And also, if you're doing any day trading, swing trading, or options trading, you're definitely going to want to get familiar with support and resistance and this channel. Now, just to let you know, I'm not a financial expert. These videos are for educational purposes only, but I am here to point out key factors on the charts which do impact the price action of a stock. I also provided a link in the description for Webull. You could use that to start an account and you'll get 2 free stocks. I also provided a link for Robinhood. You could use that to start an account and you'll get 1 free stock. Now, just to let you know, we will be doing 3 videos per week on 3 different stocks. So if you have a recommendation for a video, leave a comment below and I will try to get to it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any new content here. Okay, so let's get into the market today. Today is August 19th, 2021. You can see here the S&P 500 closed up 1.15% today. The Dow closed down 0.18% and the NASDAQ closed up 0.11%. So kind of a mixed day in the market, not too much happening. You saw a big sell-off yesterday near the end of the day, and that continued into this morning, but once the market opened, things kind of straightened out, and not too much happening today. So we'll see what happens tomorrow and into next week. A lot of people are talking about a correction coming, so let's just keep an eye out for that if you are trading in this market. All right, so let's get into the stock I want to take a look at today. Today I'm going to be going over BNGO, Bionano Genomics. I've done a few videos on this one in the past. I'll provide a link in the upper right hand corner to my last video, and you could go back and check that out if you want to see how I got to where my chart is now. You should be seeing the link right about now. But on the day, BNGO closed at $5.16. It was down 10 cents on the day, which is the equivalent of about 1.9%. In the after hours so far, it is up 2 cents or about 0.39%. In the past week, though, this stock is down over 13.5%. In the past month, it is down over 10%. In the past 3 months, this stock is down 6%, but within the past year, it is still up over 610%. So if you bought in around December of last year before this thing really took off, you are still in the profits. But if you bought in around February up here on the chart, you're not looking good right now, and it doesn't show any signs of coming back anytime soon. So let's get into the chart here. You can see it did hit a 52-week high of $15.69. We hit that on February 16th, 2021, and that was right before, literally pretty much the day the correction in the NASDAQ started in February here. It was hitting a 52-week high of $15.69. And ever since that day, this stock has just been selling off really hard. We saw, a big sell-off and then a bounce, and then now we're experiencing another sell-off. And that, won't be good if we are going into a correction here, because we've already seen this stock correct a lot. And if we go into another correction, there could be a lot more further downside to come, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's just take a look at the chart here. I have my top resistance point at around $15.60. That's where we need to get up to and close the day above there if we want to move on to new highs. You can see that it could not close above that area when it did hit that all-time high. So we're going to need to get back up there. That's where I have my top resistance point on my chart. And my first support line on my chart is around $9.65. And you could see that we gapped up from that area on the way up and left a gap open. And on the way down, we came back, filled that gap in, and consolidated a little bit before selling off under that support. So you could see that it did have a bounce, and then that support became resistance here. So that's where we'll have resistance moving forward. You could see here in the the beginning of June here, we got almost back up to that area before it sold off again. So we'll watch that area moving forward, $9.65. That's going to be a tough resistance point in the future. But our next support line is going to be around $7 here. You could see that we had another gap up when it was on the way up, making those new highs just back in the beginning of this year around January here, and did not consolidate in that area. It jumped up from $7. So on the way down, it kind of consolidated along that support line, and before it sold off right through that support, dropping down to our last support line on our chart, which is around $5.15. And that's where we're currently sitting at right now. During the original sell-off here, we had a nice bounce off of that support, recovered a little bit, almost back up to $8 here before selling off again. We retested this support, dropped below there for a couple days before regaining that support and having a very nice bounce here. So you went from $5.15 to up around $8 in this 80-cent region here. And that's when you had another sell-off. So right now, this sell-off here is happening, and we came back down to the support area, and we are testing it again for a third time. So we'll see if it holds. But there's some other things to go off on this chart that are not looking good. Looking at our chart here, you see I have a green trend line, which basically almost followed my 200-day moving average here in the yellow. I connected it with this low of the correction around May 13th here when we made that low, and we have since broken that downtrend around the middle of July here. You could see it tried to hold up along that trend line, but it fell below there, and now that trend line will be acting as resistance. As you could see, it tried to get back above there a couple days later and could not. So now it's just sitting under that trend line. Another thing is this red trend line here. That is the downtrend we are currently in, and you can see that's been acting as resistance as we've hit off that line once, twice, and 3 or 4 times during this area here. So that's going to be the pattern we are following now. Since we broke our uptrend, we have been following this red trend line to the downside, and now the thing is we're intersecting with this support area right here at $5.15. So if this support does not hold up and we do not see a breakout, maybe next week, early next week here, we could be looking at further downside and following this red trend line all the way down to where I have this gap right here, and that is going to be around $3.40 to around $3.90 here. That's a gap that was left behind on the way up that never got filled in. So we'll be looking at that as support going forward here if we do drop below our $5.15 support. Now, another thing to point out here on the chart is we lost our 50-day moving average when we broke our downtrend or our uptrend here in this green line. That was pretty much the same time we lost our 50-day moving average, which is here in this dark blue line. And we just recently, about a week ago, lost our 200-day moving average here, which was really holding this thing up. And now we lost that around August 13th here. You could see we dipped below that, and we have just been falling ever since. And now we are at a point to where it's either going to have to make one of two moves. We're going to have to either see a bounce off this support, or we're going to continue to see this thing fall along this trend line. And in my opinion, I think this will head to around this $4 region for its next support area along this gap here that was left behind on the way up. So if we do see more downside, we could be looking at $4, which is about another 20% drop from here. So if we did fall another to that $4 range, that would be 20% from where we are now. So that would not be good. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. And hopefully this correction doesn't happen just yet. Hopefully we get a little bit of a bounce here before the correction happens. Because, a downtrend and a correction at the same time here, that's not going to be good for this stock. So hopefully we don't see that. Let's just switch over to the weekly chart and see what we could find on this one. And it looks like here on the weekly chart, you could see this clear support here around $5.15. You could see it's never really closed the week below there since back in January of earlier this year when it was on an uptrend here and it was going up. So we've never closed the week below there, but we are on the verge of closing below there this week if we have another red day tomorrow. And we are also right at our 50-day moving average here in the blue on our weekly chart, and that is right at our support line around $5.22 where the 50-day moving average is on the weekly chart. So we're going to want to see this thing have a green day tomorrow and continue that momentum into next week. Otherwise, it looks like we are going to fall to around this gap here if we close below this 50-day moving average and our support here. So we're sitting on our support, and we're going to need to see a bounce tomorrow. It looks like going forward, you could see my 21-day moving average here in the light blue has been acting as resistance for this stock as it follows pretty much my downtrend line. You see this light blue moving average where I have my arrow at right there. That's been acting as resistance on the weekly chart, since around the beginning of June here. So we'll keep an eye on that moving forward. We're going to want to see this thing get above that 21-day moving average and break that resistance, which follows my downtrend line. So one of the two there. And we're going to want to continue to see the 50-day moving average act as support. So let's switch over to the 4-hour chart for one last look here, see what's going on this one. And not much going on here. We're below all the moving averages I have listed here. 200 days in the yellow, 50-day here in the blue, and our 30-day is in the green, 21-day in the light blue, and our 8-day moving average here in the white. We are even trading below that for a while now. You can see that's been acting as strong resistance on this 4-hour chart since around the 9th of August here. We have not been able to get above there. So we'll keep an eye on that going forward also. Now I'm going to switch back over to the daily chart for one last look here. And, hopefully you guys are following your trends here, because you could see once we broke this uptrend that we were on, hitting that low of May where I draw my trend line from back in December of last year, once you break that strong uptrend that it's been on, you're going to see more downside to come. So it's not just this close below there and you think you're out of the woods. That's a good time to get out if you see that happen on a stock that you're in. So just keep that in mind moving forward if you're following the trends and mapping out your charts like this, that if you see a long time trend like this and a break below there, there's most likely going to be more downside to come. So just watch out for that. And that's about it for this one. I just wanted to do an update on BNGO. If you guys liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and have your notifications on so you don't miss out on any new content here. I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on Chart Stoppers.